Well, what do we have here? We've got the Jupiter 4 for Roland Cloud, and it's Plugout as well, which is brilliant because I've got System 8. So now I have a Roland Jupiter 4 for on the move. Not that the System 8 actually leaves the studio, but just really nice to have this because I do miss my Jupiter 4. I did sell one for £100 back in the day, when if it didn't have MIDI, you didn't use it. And what's so good about the Jupiter 4? Why are they so popular now and why they're so expensive? Well, they've got discrete components, so they don't have integrated circuits, they don't have chips inside. Each of the 4 voices is on its own separate circuit board. And that means you get gentle differences between each of the voices. Here's the initial patch. If I just whack up the resonance, you can hear each of those voices sound slightly different. Let's turn the circuit mod down. Let's turn the circuit mod up and we can make things much more sloppy. So you can hear there. Whoops, bring it down a bit. That each of the voices is different. And that's the beauty of the Jupiter 4. System 8 receiving, plug in 3 or plug out 3. Now I've got the Jupiter 4 inside the System 8, which is pretty cool. Got patch here, 1978 bass. 1978 string. Oh, they know how to make strings in 1978, didn't they? Funky clav. There you go. I'm plugging out again. I'm sending patches 1 to 64. So depending on where you are in your patch selector, depends on what you get here. So if we go to A1 now, so hollow bell. LFO modulation amounts are accessed via these. So there's the pitch, filter, and the amplifier. You'll notice we're listening to hollow bell on this, and on the screen we've got drive bass. We are listening to the System 8. So on oscillator 1, this is the pulse width modulation, and this is the pulse width modulator. We've got this in the center on the oscillator 3, so sub oscillator. Mix is actually the circuit mod. And here we've got the sub and the noise. And obviously the 2 envelopes, 1, 2, keyboard follow, so everything else is really, really super obvious. The only one thing that isn't is the fact that the ARP doesn't map. We've got the same ARP step rates, quarter, 8th, 16th and the triplets, but it's not moving on the Jupiter 4 on the plugin. And similarly with the ARP type, absolutely fantastic. We've got a Jupiter 4 in hardware again. Brilliant, love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much, Roland. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got a single LFO with a few wave shapes. We've got a single VCO that's got a square, it's got a sawtooth, and it's got a sub. We've got some noise. We've got a high pass filter and a resonant low pass filter, which we can modulate with the LFO or its own envelope, and the VCA has got its own envelope as well. We've got portamento, we've got an ARP, we've got some keyboard assign modes, got that circuit mod that we've just seen. Got lots of presets. I'm not going to change them because I've set this up as a simple sawtooth. And we've got effects down in the bottom right, which match up with all the other System 8 plugouts. Plus we've got some instant access to 16 memory slots there. And we've got an ensemble, which we can turn on and off down here on the left. So really simple, but really nice sounding bit of kit this. Just start off listening to a simple sawtooth. Definitely got a bit of buzz and rattle to that, hasn't it? And if I turn that up, really got some nice buzz going on up that top end. Lots of things don't have it that high. Really nice and buzzy, I do like that. So sawtooth, square. Again, nice and buzzy. We've got PWM. That's on LFO there. If we go to manual, doesn't go through 0, go to LFO. And there was a couple of clicks in there, and that's because I'm using poly mode 2 so that we can hear the same voice repeated. If you put on poly mode 1, you're going through the 4 voices there. And you can hear there they're all slightly different. So I've got it on poly mode 2, so that's always the same one. So it acts a bit more like a mono synth. Anyway, so we can use the LFO, we can use the filter envelope or the amplitude envelope. We go positive or negative with them. We've just put the filter envelope on. It's not doing anything else. We should hear this move through the wave shape. And you do. We've got the sawtooth and the square, or the sawtooth and the pulse width modulation square. So you can hear it getting modulated with the envelope there. Let's put it back into the LFO. It's not a huge range of things you can do with it. It's very simple, but it is very nice sounding. We've also got a sub. Let's bring something else in on top. And maybe with the PWM as well. Got some beef that, hasn't it? Let's put it on poly mode 1. Sounds more like a polyphonic synth there. And then we've got noise as well. It's quite bright, this noise. Let's turn everything else off. Let's take a look at the frequency analysis on that. Yeah, it's brighter than normal, isn't it? It's nice. Let's have a little pop, just make a little arpeggiator type sound. Stick an arpeggiator on, up and down. Turn it on. This chord mode is interesting down here. If we play a chord, plays the chord. I like that. I don't think I know anything else that does it. That's really cool. Moving over to the filter. I'll have to do them on a different key because otherwise I get copyright claims. Losing a bit of bass when we hit the resonance. Let's get it so we can put these on the screen together. So we click and hold. So a lot of loss of bass on that, which is what you expect from those Roland filters. Has got a nice sound, so increase the resonance. Oh, that's meaty, that, isn't it? controlling this with my System 8, so I'm imagining that the actual stepping we're getting there is just the MIDI control. Because it's not going by harmonics, that is it. I'll have to try it on the System 8 itself, see if it does it, but the minute we're listening to the software on Logic, I'm going to turn this resonance all the way up, so watch your ears. Ouch, turn it down a bit. Let's stop there around 15k, let's the keyboard follow down to 0, and it goes higher. Wow, sorry about that. That's a really nice filter, that, isn't it? That the depth you get on that, and it squawks right up over 20k. Don't know where that's gone to. I think I'm recording in 44 here, but that just sounds like a really nice filter. Let's put a bit of key follow on. Let's take a listen to the... maybe I should put key follow on full. There you go. And I always do this, so apologies if it bores you, but just nice sound. So you can do organs as well. Get some really low sounds out of that. Beautiful. Let's try modulating with this envelope, shall we? Envelope mod up. See if we get that snappy Roland sound. Turn it down a bit. Yeah, it's going from really high to really low. Lots of synths only get to about there. Then you got to increase the cutoff to get that snappiness, but then you don't get the depth following it. So the fact that you can do this is nice. Let's just test that range, see what we can do, see what we can see. So if we bring this to here, envelope modulation on full. So that modulation's going from 10k, isn't it? Is that on the full? All the way down. Pretty good. It's nice, isn't it? Let's put some overdrive or distortion on that, actually. I got some really nice kicks on the System 8. I'm not sure what engine from. There you go, there's one. Yeah, that VCF gets a thumbs up from me. Quick listen to the high pass. Nothing too interesting here. It's basically an EQ tool, isn't it? But worth mentioning because we've got it. Okay, let's move over to the LFO. Let's modulate the VCO with it. There we go. Let's put it on full. Okay, you can see here we've got two modes, wide and normal. Let's put it on normal. So these are what you'd normally have it on, I suppose. We go to wide. Much slower, isn't it? Harder to control. So I've got something like this on the fuse box, actually. That's really interesting, on one of the, or a couple of the oscillators. And this does go into audio territory. So on wide mode, let's put that on the filter actually, because it's probably easier to hear. Press command and click, and that goes back to 0. So cut off, bring that down. Let's put the LFO modulation up. You can hear how fast that is. So very FM-ish. As we're not following the keys, the LFO sounds slightly different on each of them, which is what you expect with a little bit of FM, if you're not key following. So although it doesn't have FM or a second oscillator, you can get FM style tones from it. Cool. We've got various waveforms on here. We've got sine, triangle, sawtooth, ramp, square, and sample and hold. But this is quite interesting in that we've got key trigger off or on. So let's put it onto normal. You can see we're synced here with this LED. Let's put it on the VCO as well. Every time I press a key, it's just following this LED. Put it on key trig on, and when I press a key, this light will change. Let's put that onto, a ramp, shall we? You can see it changes every time I hit a key, so it always starts in the same place. So if you're doing a sound like a siren, that's what you want. Every time I press a key, it starts at 0, whereas when that's off, it doesn't follow it, but you can hear what it's doing according to this light here. And of course, we've got tempo sync on and off. So if we put it on, to 128. Does it go any higher on wide? Oh no. Only available in normal mode. Pretty cool though. So you get some nice tones out of this this LFO. Let's put it back on a, I don't know, triangle. Make it less less clicky. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot to look at the LFO, but there's an awful lot of tones in there, aren't there? Also got portamento. We've got two types. We've got legato on and off. Let's just put a normal sound on, whatever one of them is. Let's try this. Portamento on. There it is. Let's take legato. Oh, we're on unison. Legato on is only available with unison 1. Okay. On 1, it's doing it all the time. Not having a manual, not quite sure what type 1 and type 2 are doing there. I'll stop playing with it because it's just really annoying to listen to from your perspective, I'm sure. Bend ranges, okay. Times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4. So, and then we've got a bend range knob as well. So probably quite a good performance tool. Assign modes, we've got unison, poly 1 and poly 2. We saw poly 1 and poly 2 before, but just to go over it in case you didn't see that bit, in case you've been fast forwarding. Poly 1, it plays through round robin through each of the voices. Here it's slightly different there, do the modulation on, or circuit modifier, whatever this is. Go to poly 2, you're playing the same voice each time. Unison 1. Trying to work out what the difference is. Ah, okay. So in unison 2, let's just turn the low pass up a bit. When I press 1 key, it's playing all 4 voices. When I press 2 keys, it's split between 2. So I can still play a 4-note chord, whereas unison 1, low note priority there. Lovely sound that, it's sort of big and wide and thick with a nice little rattle on it. What have we got on there? We've got some chorus on there as well. Let's take that off. Oh, it's great that, isn't it? Over here we've got our patch selections. We get, how many is there? 8, what, well, 32 is that, 64, and a few more. Oh, I hate brass. Oh, a bit of a rasp. Patch send and get, and that's for your plug out. We've got settings and options and the like. These are the same as all the Roland Cloud plugouts, or all the Roland Cloud, I suppose, as well. One of the big options that you never used to get are the things like the zoom. On settings, this is for the System 8 control, so I can fire this into the synth itself. Then we've got up to 8 voices on this, so even though it's a 4-voice synth, we can go up to 8. We can optimize it, and we can put MIDI mapping on. I'm mapped automatically to this System 8, so I don't have to do that. And other additions we have that we don't have on the Jupiter 4 are things like velocity sensitivity, which you'd expect. Obviously this circuit mod behavior, and modulation sensitivity and bend sensitivity. Over on the right, as we mentioned there, you've got the effects that are very much like I've got on the System 8. It replicates exactly what you've got there. So overdrive, fuzz, phaser, ensemble, delay types with choruses and flanges, and then different types of reverb. So this matches directly with anything with the plug out. Then we've got this condition knob at the top. Let's put, what should we put on? Should try a, oh, piano. I love analog synth pianos. But let's change the condition. So minus 128. I think this is very subtle. You have this on all the System 8 things. So it's a lot tighter there. So 0 is a Jupiter 4 as it normally would be, I think. So not quite being calibrated, or as calibrated as it could go back in the day. Condition here. Less calibrated. In need of calibration, and minus 128. Nice and tight. It is different to this circuit mod, which is much more of a slop mode, isn't it? Okay, let's take a listen to Ensemble. It's quite an old school style string sound. Let's bring Ensemble in. We can hear that sort of left to right panning of the noise. It sounds like my Juno 106. So it adds a bit of movement, a bit of volume, and a bit of old school charm. So yeah, there you have it, the Jupiter 4 Compuphonic from Roland Cloud. We now have it as a plug out for your System 8, which is absolutely brilliant if you've got a System 8, which I have, and I love it. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, join me over on Patreon, and all the rest of it, and I shall see you soon.